Okay, we're gonna do this fight here. Alright, let's try it again. Big and will be bad wolf. Okay, sure. Let's try. Let's try again. I mean, not try again, but let's try this. Okay. So, the role of the wolf. Every 2 scenes uses a combat page that swallows the target on hit. The consumed librarian is excluded from battle for the next scene. After swallowing Hour of Poetic Justice, after swallowing a librarian, all stagger damage resistance change to fatal for the next scene. If the wolf is staggered within the scene, expels a captive librarian. The librarian loses 25% of their max HP upon being expelled and becomes staggered. Okay. Destined to be the big bad wolf. If the wolf does not get staggered after the scene, it swallows the librarian. The librarian is killed. Oh my god! And the wolf transforms into a powerful state. The wolf also transforms if its HP is at 50% or lower at the start of the scene. Okay, so he transforms no matter what. HP does not fall below 30% before transforming. Wait, what? Every 2 scenes use that thing. This and get some light. Swallow target. Recovers some HP. Seven to 7. I can't grab this using her. The 77 damage is actually ridiculous. I mean, I can do this, but I don't have enough light for it. I mean, I'll try this. I don't want to be swallowed. I'm just content with what I have right now. I may very well be swallowed here, but I can almost guarantee of the stagger though. Wait, vengeance? No, that's not what I'm looking for. Let's go for prey. Marks the first enemy that is attacked by this librarian. Go for here. Okay. Sure. Then I can do... I can't grab that. I can grab this attack. Okay, I can grab this attack like this. Actually, go for tailoring. And then this. Go for some light regen. Alright. Upon transforming, max stagger resist increases and stagger resist is recovered to full. Into the dark. After the abnormality, it loses 25% or more of the HP it had at the point of transformation. Gain the skulking in the shadows status for the next 2 scenes. Shadowy Lurker. While the abnormality has the skulking in the shadow status, librarians other than the ones targeted by the abnormality cannot target it. Weariness. After stalking in the shadows wears off, all stagger damage resistance changes to fatal for a scene. Okay, we have a mass summation attack. We have some... this bleed attack. And... okay. Some recover HP attack. Is it really hitting my broken dice? Freaking hitting my broken dice. God damn it. I guess this is why you never should. This is the disadvantage of having a broken dice. Well. Come on. I don't get a choice? I guess I will go here. Actually, let's split it up a little bit. Oh. Okay. This skull, wait. Skulking in the shadows. Okay. I see. They're the same. I'm gonna take some damage. It's him again, okay. That sucks, but what can you do? Nothing. Right, I do have a defensive dice, just normally. That's actually fine. Because for these guys who are not attacking, meanwhile they're just generating light. No way. Okay. Well, if you focus one person down, you're still gonna get killed.
뭐 하는 거야? 명상?
That was actually pretty easy. it was actually pretty easy. Like the first phase was just okay. Like the cards, the abnormalities cards weren't very bad. Like weren't very strong. And then when he transforms, he already has like very weak. He is already very weak. And even if there is a skulking in the dark ability, it's just those cards are just healing, a little bit of healing, and then after he comes out of it, he's like very weak. He's fatal to every attack, and then there isn't. And then he just dies to everything. He gets staggered, and he just dies to any one directional attacks. So that's actually pretty good. Much better than the Tiferet fights. What are you up to? Meditation? Nothing. Just taking a break with my eyes closed. I'll leave the books in the usual spot and be on my way then. Seems like I shouldn't be disturbing you.
잠깐.
Wait. Huh? What district in the back streets are you from?
17구였어.
District 17? It was a decent place.
네가 자라오던
You
뒷골목도
say the part of the back streets you grew up in was also hellish?
아무리 끔찍한 곳이라 해도
I mean,
사람
no
사는
matter
곳이지.
how horrible a neighborhood
그리고 사람
may
사는
be,
곳은
people still
어디든
live there,
지옥이고.
and anyway, anywhere inhabited by people is hell, one way or another.
그래.
Yeah.
결국 사람들이 사는
People will
곳이라는
be
것이.
people in the end, I suppose.
뒷골목도
Each
뒷골목
corner of the
나는
back
것도
streets has its own walls.
난 언제나
Throughout my
누군가를 지키는 싸움을
lives,
해왔어.
I've always
그리고
fought to protect
완벽하게
others.
지켜낸 적은
Though I
드물어.
rarely even though I rarely ever managed to protect anything flawlessly.
담배 한 대 필래?
On the sick,
고맙지만 됐어.
thanks, but no thanks.
담배는
I
예전에
quit smoking
끊었거든.
long ago.
그래?
Really,
보기와는
didn't
다르네.
expect that.
어릴 적 내가
The
살았던
part of the back
뒷골목은
streets I was
늘
brought
이웃이
up in,
바뀌었어.
the neighborhood would constantly change.
근본이
I
선하다고 할
wouldn't say
수는
my
없어도
neighbors had their
나름
hearts
잘
in the right
대해줬던
place,
어른들은
but some of the
자고
adults
일어나면
there
없어져
were
있거나
kind of nice to me,
팔다리가 잘린
although
채
they usually
길거리에
be
뒹굴고
gone without
있었지.
a trace or end up rolling around in the street with their limbs chopped off the next morning.
뒷골목이라도 매일 그런 개판이기엔
That's a rough
힘든데.
mess, even for the back streets.
역시
District
악명
23
높은
really did live
23
up to its rep, huh?
조직 간의 영역 다툼과
It
숙청이
was when the turf wars and purges between syndicates were at their peak,
지금
just like what's
엘사
happening in
둥지
Lobotomy
안에서처럼
Corp's
말이야.
nest right now.
용케 살아남았어.
And you managed to survive
내노라 아는
that.
해결사들도
Even
꺼리던
adept
뒷골목 중
fixers
하나인데.
would avoid going there.
피냄새가
Lobotomy
다른
corpse
뒷골목으로 갈
nest.
수 있다는
Okay, I guess the
생각조차
nest is different
할 수
from the corporation itself.
나에게는 그곳이 전부였거든.
It was the only place I had. I couldn't even imagine moving to another district where there was less bloodshed.
그저
I was just
살아남기
desperately
위한
looking for
방법만
ways to survive in
필사적으로
that town.
찾고 있었지.
23구는
Compared to District 23, even the carnival where those smiling faces look like child's play.
그래서 나는
Yeah,
끊임없이
so enough,
찾았지.
I began to constantly
곁에
seek
있는
ways to
자들을
protect the
지켜낼
people
방법을.
around me in that hellhole. You can tell
어떤
much
단어를
about the
사용하고
society
있는가에 따라
from the vocabulary
그들이
used by its
살아가는 서열을 알 수
people.
있어.
The
뒷골목에서
language
사용하는
used in
언어는
the back streets is
되게
often simple
소박하고
and
직설적이지.
straightforward.
일상에서
They pick
가까운
common
단어를
words
쓰기
found in
마련이야.
everyday life. They don't
특별한
bother
단어를
making up
새로
special
만들어 사용하지
terminology.
그들에게는
That applies
일상이기에
to things that have
주변의
been
말을
part
쓰지.
of their everyday
일상적으로
life.
쓰이는 말의 본래
That applies to
의미보다도
the things
더
that
와닿을 일이
have become
많으니까.
a part of their everyday life. They're often even more relevant than the original meanings of those words.
엄지와 검지 같은 다섯
I guess the
손가락이나
five fingers like the
청소부들이
thumb and the
대표적인
index and the
예시잖아.
sweepers are prime examples of that.
뒷골목 사람들이 붙잡기
People in the
위해
back
노력해야
streets
하는
strive
것은
to gain wealth
돈과
and
힘이야.
power.
살아남기
They
위한
can't
힘
afford to
이상의
pursue
가치를
anything
추구할
more than the
혈육이
things to
없는
keep
거지.
themselves alive. You know what's
그런데
funny though?
웃긴 게 뭔지 알아? 힘을 쥔다
Even
해도
if one were to have
그
power,
힘은
that power
자신보다 아래로 향할
would only
뿐이었어.
strike down, not up.
뒷골목의
The
피해자들은
victims in the back streets
가해자가
were
되지 못한
potential
가해자야.
perpetrators who just weren't strong enough.
처음에 칼리라는
Let me
7살
tell you
정도
about
되는
the story
꼬맹이가
of a
있었어.
kid named Callie, 7 years old at that time.
그리고 그
The first
아이의
thing
첫
the kid
기억은
remembers was crying along the
눈앞에
corner of
피와
an
내장이
alleyway,
뒤섞인
surrounded by
골목
blood and
구석에서
guts.
울고 친구라고 할
She didn't have
사람은 전혀
anyone to
없었어.
call her friends.
곁에 있어도
People around her
다
would all
사라져버리는 거야.
disappear sooner or later.
비슷한 또래의
Most kids her
친구들은
age were either
청소부들에게
abducted by the sweepers or
어디론가
treated like their
끌려가거나
toys.
장난감 취급받았으니까. 어린아이는 그저
The small kid
숨죽여
couldn't
보고
do
있을
anything
수밖에
but
없었어.
watch in silence. In silence. Okay, this theme is very serious theme. The theme is from like very calm and then it's starting building up like into very gruesome, very horrible themes. And right now it's like there's some sort of child like going on with children. The theming is very serious and very like I feel like this is 18 plus. I'm not sure like if like teenagers would be even like allowed to play a game like this.
칼리가 13살까지 살아남을 수 있었던
It
이유는
was by sheer luck
그저
that
운이
Callie could
좋았던 거야.
survive until she was 13.
하지만
To cherish
그
the
운을
good
헛되이
fortune she
쓰지
was
않기
given,
위해
Callie observed and
칼리는
observed
관찰하고
in
계속
order to
관찰했어.
survive through her own effort.
자신 칼리는 20살이
So
될
Callie
때까지
made it to
살아남았어.
20 years of age,
나름의
following
전략을
strategies of her
숨지
own,
마침내
and she finally
해결사가
became a
되었지.
fixer.
할 수 있는
There
일이란
wasn't much
것은
else she
한정적이었으니까.
could do.
다행히 조직으로 빠지거나
You
그러진 않았고
thankfully didn't join a syndicate or anything, huh?
아이는
The
그들과
kid
똑같이 되지
swore
않겠다
that
다짐했거든.
she wouldn't stoop to their level.
칼리라는 해결사가
Callie,
막
the
시작한
fixer's
일은
life,
점차
got on a
안정되어 가고
stable
있었지.
track after some time
저런
after
환경
she started
덕분인지
working.
적성에 맞았어.
The work fit her well, thanks to the environment she grew up in.
나도 그랬는데 말이지.
Oh, I was the same too.
해결사가 되어서
She thought she
정도
could
힘을
now
가지니
protect her neighbors
같은
living in the
맨션의
same
이웃들은
apartment,
지킬 수 있다고
given that she
생각했어.
has some power being a fixer.
워낙
The
위험한
streets Callie was
골목이었으니까.
living in were still
칼리가
quite
살던 곳은.
dangerous,
그동안
and she
신세던
thought she
맨션
ought to
이웃인
return the favor to
션
Mr. Sean next door
그리고
and
그
Miss
위층에
Goose
살던 구스
upstairs,
언니에게
her neighbors who
은혜를
she was
갚아야겠다고
indebted to.
생각했어. 두 이웃은
Those two
어린
would often
시절부터
give food and
칼리에게
drink to Callie ever
마실 거나
since
먹을 것을
she was a
나눠주곤
child.
몇 안 되게 오래
They
봐온
were two of the
사람이었고
only people she known
나는
for a long
가족
time.
같다고 생각했지.
They were like family to her.
그런 션
Out of
아저씨와 구스
gratitude,
언니가
she
너무
gave them
고마워서
some of the money she
돈을
earned.
나눠줬어.
기특한 아이였구만.
That's nice of her. You know how they repaid Callie for all the money she gave them for more than a month?
칼리한테 보답해준 일이 뭔지 알아?
뭐 흐름상 좋은 꼴을 본 건
I
아니고.
guess it wasn't anything good, judging from the flow of their story. Yep,
맨션의 주민들과 작당해서
they conspired with other residents of the apartment and broke into Callie's house while she was
근거를
asleep,
찾더군.
binding her hands and feet while looking for a safe.
뭔지 알아.
Oh, I see what they were
칼리한테도
up
큰
to.
돈이 있을 거라
They must have thought
생각했나 보네.
Callie was keeping much more money in her stash.
맞아.
Yep,
기어코
they really
그 짓을
did try to
저지른
rob
거지.
her.
칼리는 믿을 수가
Callie couldn't
없었어.
believe it, not because she found herself
두 팔과
bound
두 다리가
when she
묶여
woke
있어서
up.
놀란 게 아니야. 바로
It was
눈앞에
because she saw filthy
추잡한
lumps of
욕망
greed
덩어리들이
crawling around
기어다니고
right before her
있었어요.
eyes.
어제까지만
Just the day
해도
before,
안부를
they used to be her
묻는
friendly neighbors.
그리고 그
They
이웃들은
understood the agony of
누구보다
loss better than
삼실의
anyone.
아픔을 잘 아는 사람들이었어.
Callie only hoped that the money she gave them would be used in meaningful ways.
힘이 생긴
She
만큼
just wanted to protect them
그들을
with her
지키고 싶었을
newfound
뿐인데.
strength.
전형적이구만. 전형적이야.
Yep. Stereotypical people, weren't they?
바보같이
I'm sure Callie
칼리는 부는
didn't
척
let
당한 건
them
아니겠지?
get away with it like a fool, yeah?
그래.
She didn't.
칼리는 그들
Callie was stronger
생각보다
than they
강한
thought.
아이였으니까. 언제라도
She could forcefully
묶여있는
snap the
밧줄
ropes
따위는
binding
힘으로
her
풀 수
at any
있었지만
moment,
기다렸어.
but she chose to wait.
이 모든 게
She wanted to believe all of this was
장난이면
just a
좋겠다며.
misunderstanding or a prank,
하지만
but the repulsive words they
그들이
spat out
태연하게
so
내뱉는
casually,
추잡한 말들. 목돈
talking about
쥐어서
how this was
다른
their
곳으로 이주할 수
opportunity
있는
to use their
기회가
money to
생겼다며.
move to a different place.
그건 꿈도
It
착각도
was
뭣도
neither a
아닌
dream nor a misunderstanding, but a cold truth.
그래서 그
So
개자식들은
did
다
those
죽었어?
son of
내가 다 화나네.
bitches get what's coming to them? Man, it's upsetting just hearing this story.
맞아.
You're right.
다 죽였지.
She killed all
그리고
of them.
칼리는 눈물을
And
흘렸어.
Callie
이웃들의
burst
피를
into
뒤덮은
tears,
채로.
covered in the blood of her neighbors.
칼리가 지켜왔던
Callie's
이웃들도
neighbors, who she had
결국
been
힘을
protecting
얻으면
from
손바닥
violence,
뒤집듯
were no different
다른
from the
누군가에게
others in
폭력을
that they
휘둘렀지.
would resort to violence themselves once they had power.
누군가를
The savage
지켜낸다 해도
cycle wouldn't stop no
반복할
matter
뿐이었던
who
거야.
she tried to protect.
맞아. 그래서인지
Yeah,
동정할 필요조차
sometimes I
없다고
feel like there's no
생각해보네.
point in having any sympathy. I feel like this is such like it hits home really hard. This is what we are experiencing right now. I feel like so relatable to this. It's like all these powerful people are just like they don't really care about like the normal citizens, and then as the normal citizens we're just trying to get more power, and then the more power we get, like we don't really care about our neighbors. Like who actually like cares about their neighbors? Like we're on friendly terms with our neighbors maybe, but we don't really care for them. And then like when we have money, when we have power, we move out, we don't really come back, and then we really quote unquote look down on the poor people because they're just simply poor, and like homeless people, for example. It's just a vicious cycle. Yes, sometimes I feel like there's no point in having any sympathy.
나도
I
해결사를
also
시작한 지
struggle a
얼마
lot
안
thinking about
됐을
what's
때는
right and
무엇이
wrong
옳은지
during my
정말
early
많은
days
고민을 했어.
as a fixer.
넌
What
어떤
kind of fixer were
해결사였는데?
you? A neat and sensible fixer who rationally
나름
handled his
이성적으로
work, so to
사리분별해가며
speak.
일을 처리하는 깔끔한 해결사였지. 그래서인지
I held up
평판은
a
썩 괜찮았고.
decent reputation. And
그렇게
then
평판
you
좋던
plummeted
해결사가
to great
고급
night all of a
해결사가
sudden?
맞아.
That I did.
세상
Anything can
일이란
happen
게
in
참
life.
모르는 거야.
I mean, the legendary Callie
그
is now
칼리가
standing in front of me
어엿하게
too.
내 앞.
That's true.
그렇지.
앞뒤 안 가리고
be frank,
깽판치던 때가
There was
있었어.
a time when I
눈에
went
뵈는 게 없어서.
batshit insane and ran amok. Didn't care about the consequences at all.
그래서 적도
I
많이
made a lot of
만들었지.
enemies back then.
아직도 그
The
찬양이
sensation I
가시지가
felt
않아.
still reverberates in my head sometimes.
역시 너도
You
이런저런 일이
also went
있었네.
through a lot, huh?
그런 얼굴이야.
I can see it in your eyes.
칼리는
I won't
완전히
say
내가
I'm exactly
아니지만
the same being as
여전히 내
Kali
안에 있어.
anymore, but she still rests within me.
그래 보여. 넌
Seems
확실히
like
여러
it.
해결사들과
You're
달라.
upright and honest,
뭘
unlike
보자.
most fixers I've seen.
말을 너무 많이 했어.
I've talked too much.
잘
I'm gonna
연다.
get some sleep.
푹 쉬라고 칼리.
Sleep tight, Kali. Now she is known as Kali. Instinct. Each time the selected librarian wins a clash, the last die on their current page gains 1 to 2 power. Each time the selected librarian wins a clash, the last die on their current page gains more power. Recovers 3 to 7 HP on a successful hit with that final die. Okay, some HP regen. After the librarian sustains damage greater than 25% of their max HP, become untargetable and unclashable next scene. The librarian gains 2 strengths as seen and inflicts 1 bleed with each successful attack. Okay, I mean, okay, that's pretty nice. Counter dice gain 1 to 2 power. Counter dice inflicts 2 fragile upon winning a clash. Counter dice gain power. Counter dice inflict fragile. And I just noticed this, that so there is like this, like on the top left corner of this, there's the 1 and then there's the 2 here. So these 4 cards can only be seen at emotion level 0 and emotion level 1, I think. And these 2 can be seen at emotion level 2. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, and then we can of course continue with Gebra, but we're gonna move on to Chesed. I'm gonna do a couple of these, and then I'm gonna do Chesed, and then let me see here. Yeah, I'm gonna do Chesed, and I can do this as well. Okay, I'm gonna go for Eugene's page, and then the Mies page. There's also the opportunity of doing a general invitation just to get some more books and so forth, but I will do that later, probably after like we do these we do these abnormality fights. Yeah, anyways, let's go. Scarecrow searching for wisdom.